we did not have a dump button, a delay or anything.
Oh, wow.
We didn't get one until like our last 2 years. Your time spent listening is just unbelievable. I said, because it's always different.
Yes.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
For 4 hours, it's all different. You never knew what it was going to say. So there you go.
How much of it was because a lot of ours was spontaneous.
Yeah, it was spontaneous for us. It was truly live,
I hate people that want to set up something way in advance.
Well, it takes a real...
And we want you to laugh right here, Johnny.
It takes a real talent to make the canned stuff sound spontaneous.
Yes.
And the phone calls were all spontaneous.
Wow.
Well, we live it on the edge.
Big time.
Welcome to a podcast about music and entertainment. Before it all goes down the disposal, this is Circling the Drain.
Hey, welcome back to Circling the Drain. I'm John Bozeman. Over there, Jay Harper.
Hey there. So you're not Johnny B anymore? You're just John Bozeman?
Well, whatever you want to call me.
Okay.
I've been called worse.
Yes. Yeah, I've been in your presence when you've been called worse.
Sometimes it was you.
Yeah. I said that voice I hear you here calling you worse was mine.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
all right, and of course the guy that's apparently James Patrick is having a little bit of a rough day. Jim, are
Yes,
you
he
all
is.
right, man?
I shouldn't have asked God to give me patience today.
Okay, because
He's giving you a lot of opportunities
a
to
lot of
I think-
demonstrate patience.
I think part of the problem was I overheard you. And when I heard you, you said, God, give me patience now. Doesn't quite work that way.
And he said, okay.
Let me show you. Yeah, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
But guys, I tell you what, we are in the presence of royalty here. I'm telling you. And I don't mean to embarrass her. But we've got somebody that has been part of the country music industry for a long time. She was huge on the radio with a great show, The House Foundation. And on top of that, a great animal lover, which hits
That's
my
it.
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
same
Devon
here.
O'Day is joining us today on the
Thank
podcast.
you.
Man, we're glad to have you.
I'm so glad to be here.
And
this
you
is
had
awesome.
and you had a moment today too.
I did.
You had tire trouble.
Yeah, a little bit of a challenge.
I know. I've learned how to use those air fillers, that you put
Yeah.
your credit card in. Air used to be free.
Yeah, it did. Like water.
Yep.
I know. You just go and there's no free water, no free air.
There's no free anything anymore. No.
We got it for free at Sheets over the weekend.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Sheets and Bucky's.
You got air free?
Buc-ee's.
Well, get the sheet out of here.
The sheet out of here.
No sheet.
Yeah, I think you're full of shit there, right?
This
I can't
weekend,
believe it.
I kid you not. 2 times I went to Buc-ee's this weekend. It's my favorite place to stop. I route my trips if there's a Buc-ee's. And so Decatur, Alabama, I had to go that direction on the way to see Twitty and Lynn in Decatur, Alabama. Yeah, and then on Saturday I was in North Carolina for a corporate kind of backstage Nashville event. So we went to Nebo right outside of Asheville, and we went by the Buc-ee's in Pigeon Forge area.
Yeah.
It's the Beerville.
It's the biggest one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, there is one that will be opening here in about a month, about 3 miles from my home in Murfreesboro. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. How many brisket sandwiches can you eat? Yes.
Exit 84 off of I-24. So, yeah, man, I'm just thinking I'm going to need Bucky nuggets at 2 in the morning. I'm going to be able to, take care of that. Yeah, just a few miles away.
It's the best. And I did do a comparison. I went online and did a comparison. We stopped at the Dolly Parton travel stop.
How was that?
It was okay. But I mean, the hats were almost $60 and a souvenir bag was $70. And then you go to Buc-ee's and they're like $9.99.
Oh, man.
So I'm going, okay, there's my comparison.
Yes.
And the sandwiches are still the same at Buc-ee's. I mean, you get them for like $9, you get a nice big brisket sandwich. Right. And, so I don't know. I would, the difference is Dolly actually has trucks at her truck stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Buc-ee's is not a truck
they
stop.
do not allow trucks.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a truck stop. That was made very clear to me one time.
And the staff seems pleasant at Buc-ee's because they pay them well.
Did you see what they pay people to manage
those? Yeah.
The car wash.
$120 grand a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Really?
And the GMs of those places can make like $265.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They have the
How are we
sign.
doing this? No, it's all going to work for Buc-ee's.
They had a sign out front where there's going to be one in Murfreesboro. See, there
See, there we go. We got a job. We
I
got a
know.
gig.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think it's kind of cool, and you see these people, and they're so happy.
They're happy to be there.
Welcome to Buc-ee's. People say, "Oh, we cannot get help. We cannot get help." Well, if you pay them, it's amazing. In the middle of nowhere, they're fully staffed 24/7.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the whole difference is how you treat your employees. You know, if you make the work environment fun and nice and you pay them well,
It's like radio could take a note from that.
Yeah, they
Money
sure
changes
could.
everything.
Yeah, it does.
Everything.
and maybe a little pat on the back when you do well, you know. Then
A little attaboy every now
Yeah,
and then.
that would be nice, you know, when the ratings are number one. And not that I'm complaining.
You would never do that.
No, I would not
We
do
don't
that.
do that.
No,
Yeah.
but I listened to you for years on the Spouse Foundation. That was such a great show.
It was so much fun, and I have had people ask me. They said, would you ever do radio again?" And I said, I wouldn't do terrestrial radio the way that I've been asked to do it, you know, of
Right.
late. I don't love to voice track. I did it early on with Sirius XM, and so it just wasn't my favorite thing. I love a group. I love that ensemble
Oh,
where you're all getting
absolutely.
together
Yeah.
and you're laughing and having a good time
Yes.
and living on the edge,
Yes.
not knowing what people are going to say.
Yes.
And having to use your extra sensory perception to know, okay, they're about to fly one over on us. Be ready to hit that button.
We don't want to go over the cliff, but yeah, we'll look over the edge.
Yeah, we'll teeter.
That's right. That's right. That's just good. Adrenaline rush.
It is.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. But you guys did it so well. And Jerry was so good. My gosh, that guy was.
He worked harder than anybody I have ever seen in my life. And that's the one thing that I got from that. It was the best school in the world. Since then, I will run into people if I do have some radio shows or whatever, and they'll look at my show prep. And they go, "Good Lord, you do so much show prep." I can't not do show prep because that's who he taught. And that's what he taught. And he would do it, and he never asked more than he was willing to do.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. And that, you know, and I appreciate that. Now, if it's someone that kind of phones it in and has everybody else do the work, now I don't have anything for that, but I always knew he was going to be there before anybody. He was going to be writing in the afternoon, recording a show for the next day after everybody was done with their day.
Yeah.
Long after Mike Bohan went to Checkers.
It was funny one time because we moved over to the studio where Jerry's show was at. And I was told by a general manager there that had no clue. He said, I had rules about Jerry. Said, if you see Jerry, you don't talk to him. You don't, no eye contact. I mean, this general manager is going all over these lists. So I'm at Virginia's Market, which we called the Murder Mart.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Remember that.
it was right around
Lovingly.
the corner.
Right
Lovingly,
Lovingly.
yeah. That's what we all called it. But I was there like getting some snacks or something, and all of a sudden, you know how you feel somebody staring at you? Well, it was Jerry.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, what do I do? I was told never to talk to him, and I told Mike Bohan this story later, and he said, that's a bunch of bull. He said he would have loved to have talked to you.
Yeah, of course he would. I heard so many rumors about Jerry.
Yeah.
Now, what he didn't like is if someone just would burst into the studio, and there's a reason for that. He would record his character the day before and leave a space for him to talk and ask the question to the character.
Right.
The timing was right on. And if someone burst in and said something or interrupted him, they weren't full. He didn't talk back and forth to himself all in one. It was literally, if he missed the break, the joke wouldn't work because the question that set up the joke from him wouldn't, that character goes on whether you talk to it or not.
Right.
The way he did it. So people would interrupt him or distract him. It could mess up the whole bit. So...
Well, I think anybody on the air, you don't want somebody.
Yeah, and it's
just-
always some sales guru
Yeah, it's always-
popping into the studio.
Yeah, it's always a sales hog. I don't know why. But
Yeah.
I had one general manager, and maybe it was that one that told you not to say anything. He wasn't there for very long.
yeah, it must be the same guy.
Yeah,
He didn't last long.
He was not there for very long, and he insisted, "I'm going to go in. I am the general manager," with a few expletives thrown in. And I said, "Don't go in there. I'm just telling you, don't go in there right now." I did everything but throw myself in front of the door saying, "No." He just forced his way in, and he wished that he hadn't, because it messed up something that we were right in the middle of.
Yeah.
And he was recording phone calls. And so here the GM goes in and, "Hey, you know what?" Messed up a whole next break. And so anyway, he walked in, he said, "Okay, I'll never do that again." Because Jerry, he as fun as all it was, it was very intense
Well,
sometimes,
sure.
because we didn't repeat any bits. We did 4 full hours of stuff like you guys did. I mean, you weren't,
Yeah.
it wasn't the NPR thing where you replay the first hour and the second hour,
Right.
You do one complete hour and then you just say, "We'll just do it again."
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And people said, "Well, your time spent listening is just unbelievable." I said, "Because it's always different."
Yes.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
For 4 hours, it's all different. You never knew what it was going to say. So there you
How
go.
much of it was because a lot of ours was spontaneous.
Yeah, it was spontaneous for us. It was
Yeah.
truly live,
Yeah, and I think that's better. I think that's when comedy can really, that's when it's funny. That's the funniest. I hate people that want to set up something way in advance.
Well, it takes a real.
And we want you to laugh right here, Johnny.
It takes a real talent to make the canned stuff sound spontaneous.
Yes.
The spontaneity oftentimes is what lends itself to the comedy.
Oh,
you know?
sure.
And Jerry only had 3 characters, and those were the only times, probably out of a 4-hour show, 7 minutes that were recorded, but it was still spontaneous because he had to react to it.
Right.
And the phone calls were all spontaneous.
Wow.
And people go, we did not have a dump button, a delay or anything.
Oh, wow.
We didn't get one until like our last 2 years. Well, weren't we living on the edge?
Big time.
Yeah, this is crazy, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
How'd you meet Jerry House?
When I was doing middays there, and we went through a sale, as like you do in radio.
Yes.
And they said, "Jerry House is coming back." They called me and they said, "Jerry needs a producer, and we want to know if you want to be that." And I said, "What's a producer?" They said, "None of us know. He just wants one." I said, "Okay, so do I have a job if I don't say yes?" Because I was doing middays. And I kind of like being a disc jockey. I really like that. And they said, "No, you won't have a job." I said, "Well, I guess I'm a
producer.
whatever that is."
I'm right there.
Sign me up.
So, I mean, you kind of learn. And the first day, I mean, I walked in and I, got my little cup of coffee and sat down in the back of the studio. And he and Paul Randall at the time were there. I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm here producing."
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is. He said, "You can't sit there." He said, "You're going to have to go in another room because you're going to have," and he taught me how to be a producer,
Wow.
how to listen, and literally taught me the whole rope. I was so green. I didn't know anything. But I learned then, that's my rule. And it's I have a memoir that I'm working on, say yes and figure the rest out later.
That's true.
Be a learner. And here I had this icon that was willing to teach. He taught me songwriting. He brought me into rooms I remember the first time I ever co-wrote anything, he said, "Billy Dean and I are writing, we're stuck, and you're really good with words. Come in and sit with us and write."
Oh, wow.
And I went, "Okay.
Okay.
I'll go in there. I'll pop on in there." And that song was recorded by Ray Stevens.
Wow.
It was a funny song, and then he called me in on another room, and that song was recorded by Hank Jr. and became a single. And then I said, "You got any more rooms?"
Yeah.
I got more words. But, honestly, I told somebody the other day, they said, who do you think is the most influential person in your career? And I said, without a doubt, it's Jerry House, because every door in the music industry, in this town, in this career have been opened. They were opened by him.
Yeah.
And he had no problem shoving me through it and say, you go handle this. I don't want to.
So you got that too, did you?
You and I have a lot in common.
We really do. Yeah. Well, circling the drain, we wouldn't be able to do this podcast without people that would support us. And David Crabtree is one of these fine people. And he's got Crabtree Benefits. And David, I'd like you to tell folks a little bit about Crabtree Benefits.
Okay, thank you, Johnny, for having me today. And Crabtree Benefits is an employee benefit company. I help companies establish a benefit package for their employees. So if they're looking for medical, dental, vision, disability, they can provide them to their employees so their employees can protect themselves and their families.
One of the things that you do is help the business owner not have to get in the weeds.
Well, it can certainly be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Confusing.
And these are, literally life-altering decisions.
Yeah.
As a business owner, really the last thing you want to deal with are employee benefits. This is where I come in. I'm David Crabtree with Crabtree Benefits.
Hey, if your business needs better benefits, go to crabtreebenefits.com and be sure and tell them Johnny B said hey.
I am Vinny Tavares. I'm the owner of Milltown Bikes, right in the heart of Columbia, Tennessee, on the square. And we're here to serve the community. We have bicycles from kids to adults, e-bikes, mountain bikes, road bikes. We run a repair shop. So I am the third generation of this current bike shop. It's been here since the 70s. It's a historical building. It's an integral part of the downtown community in Columbia. We got customers here coming in and talking that they got their very first bike here. So the reception has been great. Everybody's been super friendly, super welcoming. A lot of the old customers that been coming here for generations now still come here. They're now my customers, and I have a huge responsibility to continue to carry that legacy and that passion forward.
When I was listening to you just now, it felt like my life story without the hit song. It's just what it sounded like.
Well, I didn't say they were all hits, but I said. Yeah. But
So which Hank Jr. tune was the
it was
single?
a song called Diamond Mine.
Yeah.
I'm in a diamond.
Yeah.
mine.
Right. I
When
do
he signed
recall
with
that.
Capricorn Records, and my sister, who's an actress, came in and was in the video.
That's
with-
right, Faith Ford. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was just talking to her on the way in. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. There are a lot of times when writing and co-writing is very difficult if you've never done it before.
Yeah.
I had written songs a lot. And oddly enough, the person that I wrote songs with back in Louisiana, well, that kind of knew I was a songwriter. I was at this little Pentecostal church, and before service, I was just kind of playing for the Lord. I was just sitting there singing. And the praise and worship leader came out. She said, "Did you write those?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, I'm going back to Nashville. And when you get there, give me a call because you've got some talent." And I said, okay. So I called her, and I'm thinking this little Pentecostal praise and worship leader. Well, it was Linda Hargrove who wrote Tennessee Whiskey with Dean Dillon and a few other huge hits. And she signed me, and she signed Phil Vassar. And she was my teacher, somebody that really taught me. And she says, "Look, you're going to do well in this business because you're one of the guys." She said, "There are the girls that are the girls." But she said, "You're one of the guys." She said, you don't put on airs. You don't worry about how they talk. You don't worry about if they cuss, spit, and chew. You just kind of take it in stride." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "Don't change that, because all the other girls will go get married and do what they do. But you will always write if that's what you love." And I said, "Okay." So that's what I did.
You came to the right town for that, too.
Yeah.
When did you get to Nashville?
I raised in Louisiana, and I knew I had to change. My sister was living in New York, and I said, I'm 20 years old. I graduated from Northeast Louisiana University. I said, you know what? If I'm going to go try New York City, I need to go now, because otherwise I'm going to be afraid. Mm-hmm. Because the older you get, the more you don't know that you're afraid when you're 20. You're bulletproof.
That's very true.
So I moved to New York, and I moved in with my sister and 2 models that were friends. One girl worked for ESPN, no, sports channel, and the other was a model. And then Faith and I shared a room, so we had this little. It was a crazy, crazy time in my life, but a couple of years. And I just jumped in I said, what have I got to do in New York City? So I went literally and signed up. I wanted to be a writer, a book writer. So I signed up for classes at NYU. My sister said, where have you been all day? I said, here's my class ID. I'm going to NYU. I'm taking creative writing. Real authors teach the classes. Isn't that cool? Then it took voiceover. I said, okay, I'm going to take voiceover. And Don Cobiella, who was the initial voice on MTV.
Yeah.
Done tonight on MTV.
Yeah.
That was my voice coach.
Oh, wow.
That taught me. And I took the voice coach that I had to get the South out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. She said, I don't believe I've ever heard a Southern accent like yours. Where's it from? The swamps of Northeast Louisiana, Southeast Arkansas. That's where it's from. Ay. You know, Bill Cody once said he was listening, and I was on Afternoon Drive, and I was there, and Tammy Arnder, who graduated with me, and Andy Griggs were all from the same little spot. He said, I was driving in. I thought, who is on the radio? He said, you and Tammy and Andy started speaking in this brogue, this North Louisiana, South Arkansas brogue. He said, it was the weirdest accent I've ever heard.
There's a surprising element, like a New Orleans accent.
Yeah.
Oh, it's different. New Orleans is very laid back.
It sounds like a Long Island accent.
It does.
Yep, it's just slower. I grew up in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? No kidding.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. I mean, born in Texas, and, when I was a little kid when we moved to New Orleans, but, I was born in Southeast Texas and talk like this. And then I go to New Orleans, where it, as you say, I mean, it's kind of got a New Orleans kind of, hey, where you at, bro?
It's Yats. Yeah. It's the
Yats.
Yats.
The Yats. And boy, talk about, culture shock. And I got picked on Merce, Anyway, I made it a point, like you say, to get that South and Southern out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing radio for almost 50 years. So, and you're not going to work a lot of markets sounding like Gomer.
Exactly true.
So you try to work yourself out of that,
It's just so funny. And I have to do a lot of accents when I do audiobooks because I narrate audiobooks.
Right.
And I did this one that was set in the South, and one of the reviews said her Southern accent absolutely sucks, but her New England accent is fantastic. So she must be from New England.
Well, how does your New England accent sound? Just out of curiosity.
I literally played Pepperidge Farm commercials over and over and over. Pepperidge Farm, and I learned.
Farm remembers.
And and I would practice that, and I would my Latino accent was the worst.
Yeah, we want to hear that.
No, it was the Frito Bandito. That was the only thing I could go from. I said, I can't do this. I said, well, if there was anything in the woodpile, there was no Latino in my woodpile, and obviously nobody of Asian descent, because I kept telling Dave Walton, the walrus from KDF. He's the engineer on him, and I'll see him just dying behind the console. He said, hadn't quite got that one nailed down, have you? And I said, oh, shut up.
I had to do a commercial once for a pool company in Vegas, and they wanted a British accent. And I was like, guys, my British accent ends up sounding like Dracula for some reason. I don't know why. But okay, if that's what you like. So we had a guy with us living that was renting a room who was from Wales.
Oh, okay.
So he must have heard me doing this hard sell, Renaissance poo. I was like a Robin Leach kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I got done with it, edited it, and I opened the door, and he's standing there in the doorway looking at me, and he goes, what the hell was that? I go, dude, I don't know. I'm trying my best here, all right?
Trying to work with me.
It is funny. And everybody that wants to get in voiceovers always hands me a tape of all the accents they do.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I'm going, you really don't need to use those.
Right.
Yeah.
Just do you. And on the off chance they ask you to learn something or do one, the only one I got down is Irish, but I'm third generation from Ireland. So, I mean,
I'll sound like Dracula after a while with Ireland. I talk like the Irish. And
Always after me, Lucky Charms.
And that's the thing is that sometimes you're stuck on one thing to say.
I know.
You can't keep the character. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's weird.
Well, I know you've done hundreds of audiobooks. I've done a few, and I really don't have the patience for those.
Yeah, they don't pay very well.
You know?
That's the thing.
Yeah, well, it depends on the publisher and the writer and such. But you know, the handful that I've done pretty much called for kind of Southern lilt. So you know, but I find doing the switching from a female voice. You don't do a female voice, but the female dialogue to the male dialogue. I mean, how have you handled that going back and forth from a masculine dialogue to one that's more feminine? In those audiobooks.
I'm a singer.
Yeah.
And I graduated with a minor in voice, but I learned that you just place them different places in your throat. Like my narrator was usually female, obviously, the narrator. And so she would be right here, right, pretty much in my voice. And then a male would be down here and kind of like this and kind of like, sometimes he had a scratchy voice and like that. And if it was somebody older, she would be up here like this. And sometimes she had a little bit of a kick in her voice. And so, but when you separate them out, it was just, I had to memorize where they were in that spot on my vocal cords. And sometimes Dad would look up and Dave said, "You didn't know who was talking, did you?" I've lost it. I've lost myself. I'm somewhere in this. God bless Dave Walton, because he will fix a multitude of sins in that room in there. But I love doing audiobooks, which has totally gone away pretty much with AI.
Yeah.
For a while.
True,
Yep.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
We just listened to Project Hail Mary, which is an 18-hour book. That guy did a great job. He had to do like New Zealand and all sorts of different acts, German, Russian. I mean, his Russian came out, and I was like, "Oh wow, this guy is good."
Well, it's difficult. For at least it was a challenge for me. And you're doing it over a course of a couple of days, perhaps several days, and having the same voice quality each day.
Yeah, I was good
being
for,
consistent.
Yeah, about 4 hours, and I had to stop, especially if I was doing a lot of guy voices.
Yeah.
I did a book that was based on the Carnton plantation out in Franklin. It was a historical romance, but at the same time, it was a powerful story about all that happened at Carnton, and it was during the time when it was a Civil War hospital. And Tamara Alexander is the writer. And oh my goodness, because I'm such a history buff. I just absolutely love it. So I was in it. I had to go visit the plantation after I did the book because I wanted to feel all of those things. And you can, if you have not gone to see the Carnton plantation and studied what went on there and seen what, you might even see that little thing looking out the window. I'm not saying that you're going to see it, but there is one.
Yeah.
There is one. And I've just seen pictures of it. Gladly, I did not see it while I was there because I don't want any haints around me.
No. And that place has so many stories.
Woo.
I mean, awful. I mean, they even say there's still blood on the wall.
Oh yeah, there is, and on the floor, definitely the floor of the porch. It's there, and they have these lovely concerts out on the wall. Hello, and I go, y'all, the sun goes down.
Do you know what happened here, and what may happen here in a few hours?
I know, and then Holt's house is not any different. I mean, it's really full, but of stuff. You hear about that, and downtown Franklin was the bloodiest battle of the Civil War. So I mean, one of the stories recounts how to walk from one side of the street to other, you would have to walk across bodies piled 10 deep.
Man,
and I thought, I don't ever want us to experience anything like that.
No. Never again.
I don't know that there's any cause that should be like that. I'm so grateful. And people don't realize too that Nashville was, I mean, the Union had it.
Yeah.
and Franklin was still the Confederate thing. And I said, and it does make me think about when we get in our political climate, people start screaming and talking about that. I go, wait a minute, you know what? At the bottom, just like your shirt, we're all American.
Yes.
And, we really can get to a point where we've lost our minds.
Well, I think we have. I think we need to get back. I like debating.
Oh, yeah.
I have nothing against debate. And I think that's where you come to great conclusions. But all we're doing now, we're just screaming at one another and we're calling each other names. And that's not going to get anything done. All that's going to do is cause friction.
Civil discourse.
Yes, and that's where we're at.
And most people are not the polarized opposite. Most people are somewhere hanging toward the middle.
Exactly.
Wanting good lives for everyone.
maybe leaning one way or the other,
Yeah.
but they just want common sense.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the big difference.
And Faith and I were talking. She said on the way here, why in the world do actors find it just imperative that they tell everybody who they're going to vote for? She says, what does that matter? She said, now if somebody I know is an actor and I don't really like their work and they tell me who they're going to vote for, I definitely will not vote for them. And it has nothing to do with the person that they're telling me to vote for.
Now, we should tell people that may not know, your sister is Faith Ford, who you used to, if anyone used to watch Murphy Brown, right? She was on there, and she was a great actress.
And Hope and Faith, and The Pacifier. She was the mom in Pacifier with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
And it still freaks me out. She'll get a phone call. I said, who was that? She said, Vin. I was just checking in.
It's just old Vin.
They got along. They've been dying to do something together, and they need to. He Fast and Furious, and then apparently he's not doing any more of his fun, warm comedy things. That was a departure for him, but it was a huge success.
That was a great movie. We loved it.
Oh, thank you.
It's part of one of the biggest movies in history. And Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. He played Groot. He was the voice. His whole line was, I am Groot.
I am Groot. Anytime they ask me a question, I am Groot.
I am Groot.
And I said, what is he like? What is he like? She said, he is the goofiest person you've ever met. He loves goofy humor. And he would call her funny names. And I can't remember what he called her. I can't remember what he called her. But he had a special nickname for her. And I just don't think of him as being jovial.
No, I don't either.
I think he just always looks like he's just about to whip some ass. But,
I mean, just real intense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the persona.
Yeah.
He was a bouncer, I think, until he got discovered.
Isn't that crazy? And his partner in his business, his film business, and is his sister.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, their brother and sister kind of they just kind of created their own franchise of stuff. And by the way, I do like the Captain America shield that's here in the studio.
Oh
Yeah, that's all my geekery.
That's Jim's the Marvel geek.
Yes.
I do like me some. I love all that stuff.
I never thought I'd be getting into it as deep as I did at the age of 45, but it got me.
Well, they started doing all the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the magic. A lot of people onboarded at that point because all the noobs just fell in love with the lore and the multiple plot lines. And then, I was always at an arm's length kind of fan. And then Infinity War came out. My wife's like, you want to go see that new Avengers? Oh, that Infinity thing? Yeah. Oh, look at that. They're all coming together. I had no idea. They're the Guardian. Oh, I know them. What are they doing here? And look, there's Iron Man. And at the end, you're like, this is awesome. Everyone died. This is like Empire Strikes Back all over again. What a down note. Great. This is awesome.
Well, Thor was my favorite, but that has nothing to do with anything except
Chris Hemsworth?
Yes, that's it. That's it. All.
That's what
all.
did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the big hammer. It was just him.
it was him. He was the big hammer. He was.
He's a funny guy. That's the thing is that whole crew had such that's what I think made it so magical is that they all seemed to gel and just have fun with each other.
Yeah.
And the culture of it on set just seemed to really work.
There was he was on the Graham Norton show, and he was on with some of his co-stars on a comedy that he did, and Melissa McCarthy said, he started she said, well, maybe he's not funny. Maybe he's not funny. And she said, then he started telling jokes and go, oh God, he's funny. And then one day he was like, he's going to have to sing or something. And she goes, I bet he sings terrible. She goes, no, sings like a bird. She said, he does everything. Look at him. He comes out of the surf singing, telling jokes, and he's beautiful.
I always wondered that, like, every time he had a shirtless scene, it was only for a small amount of time. And I wonder if that was part of his contract. Like, in respect of his wife and stuff like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's why you can rewind.
Yeah. My
Or
daughter
pause.
used to.
Pause.
One of my daughter's favorite movies is Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah. I like lore. I like fantasy movies. I like lore movies. I like dragon stuff. I like all of that. And I will say that those vertical shorts that get you on, if it's about a dragon or a werewolf or a vampire, I'm in. I just go,
The scroll is stopped.
I'm in. I said, I've got to see. I said, what is it? And I go, what is it? But I'm not going to go back and watch Twilight. I'm not like that crazy, but you know.
So are you a Lord of the Rings fan?
No.
See, I'm not either.
I'm not
I
either.
can't stay awake through them.
Well, yeah, they're too long.
I fall asleep.
Yeah, they're way too long. I tell you what's better is, and my wife and I have started watching it again. We fell in love with Supernatural, the TV series.
Oh. That has layers, though. That
Yeah.
has some battle of good and evil, and all of a sudden the metaphor for this
Yeah, the lines.
spiritual
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife.
And those two
into
guys
that.
were really good. I thought.
Yeah.
A good team.
like, fantastic.
Yeah.
And I've seen them in other roles separated, and they both are doing fairly well in their separate roles, but I still miss their chemistry together. I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
me. They should
Yeah.
they should try to do something together because they were very good together.
Yeah. Vikings is my kind of thing. I love Vikings, all those Viking movies and the lore around that, the Lost, what is it, the Lost Frontier or something, you know.
Yeah.
My wife watched that. Go figure. I'm working on the bod. It's tough.
Well, it's like me. I have to. Who is it that my wife is so crazy about? I can't think now. The Rock.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
Dwayne Johnson.
my wife and my sister, my oldest sister.
Really.
In fact, my wife got my oldest sister a rock calendar where he's
Yeah, that's
all
so
bare
fun.
chested. Oh yeah.
Well, the thing about Vikings, though, is that they had the Hollywood version of the Viking, which was a lot, but Vikings were just big, thick people.
Yeah.
I mean, they were not necessarily all
Jacked.
jacked because it was cold.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. I mean,
I was in the pool.
and it was freezing, and so they had like big animal skins, and they had to keep enough to keep warm and stuff. So I don't think of it. And certainly, if you go to Scotland and Ireland now, they're not worried about whether they're jacked or not. They're big people. They're sturdy.
Yeah.
They're a sturdy people.
They're robust, aren't they?
A sturdy lot.
We eat well.
I did like Outlander, though. I did like Outlander. When I went to Ireland, I took a tour group to Ireland, and we got out of the bus at one of the stops, and it was one of the scenes. I went, oh, is this where? And she goes, Outlander.
Oh,
a lot
how
of the
cool.
battles were filmed right there, and it's this, and the scenery. We have this big, beautiful world, and sometimes we miss the scenery. But oddly enough, we have scenery as beautiful in Tennessee.
We do.
Yeah.
It really is very similar. And so I read this book. It was called The Scots-Irish of Middle Tennessee. And the reason we have so many people, especially in Columbia, Spring Hill, in that area, this is where they stopped when they were going across the country because it reminded them so much of the homeland.
Oh wow.
And so, and you think of that McEwen and that area, and the same thing.
Yeah.
You go, you see these rolling green hills. I went, oh, this is why it looked like home.
Yeah.
So kind of cool. So if you don't get to go to Ireland, just go to Spring Hill.
Yeah, go to McEwen.
There you go. You'll be there. You're almost there.
What now? You are a big animal lover, I know. What first got you? What really drew you to the animal world?
My first I was in college and I wasn't allowed to have a pet. You know, I grew up on a farm. My grandfather had a farm, and I was the only grandkid that loved it. I rode the tractor with him. I was the one that did all the doctoring of the animals. I thought he was teaching me. He had a weak stomach. And so he would send me in with a sow with mastitis or something, and he says, go daub something on it. Here's some stuff, you know. And I didn't know. You know, my grandmother now, she taught me a lot of the doctoring stuff. But, I mean, I learned things like to vaccinate and do all that stuff. So I was totally into animal care of everything from chickens and pigs and cows.
I mean, did you ever think of being a vet?
I was in pre-vet first.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was in pre-vet first, and I had trouble with chemistry.
Boy, you ain't the only one. Yeah.
But all the zoology and the botany and stuff, I mean, I was, except for the big rats. We had to do the study of the big rats, and they said, oh, don't worry, they won't bite you.
Oh.
And sure enough, about that time, a guy screamed. He was holding it by the tail, and it grabbed him under the arm. And that, well, I guess it won't be that.
That's the only animal, you know, the rats and mice. I have no use.
Big old possum.
Yeah.
I don't
mind possums anymore.
Well, I mean, that's just a big rat.
Yeah.
I like possums. I like all the animals. I'm not fond of snakes. That's the thing. I don't want to do reptiles.
I'm not a snake guy.
You know, I did have pet rats at one point.
They're pretty clean.
Didn't surprise me. Does that really surprise anyone that he would have?
That's all the apartment would allow.
Yeah. No, I think the little mice are cute, but the rats, no.
Yeah,
The little
not so
mice
much.
are
little mice are kind of cute.
No.
You know?
But they got little hands. And
I'd rather have the snake.
I mean, like the movie Mouse Hunt. Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh, it's
Yes.
adorable.
Hysterical, funny movie.
And
That was-
Ratatouille. I mean, come on. Let's just
the little mouse and Mouse Hunt. He was so cute.
No, the only animal, the greatest animal I ever had in my life was my dog. He was a collie. It really wasn't my dog. It was my oldest sister's dog, but he ended up being mine because I spent more time with him. But this guy was so smart, and my mother was amazed. But this dog knew when my school bus would come. Because she said every day it's the same. Said he gets up right when your school bus is coming, and he'd wait at the school where they would let me out, and he'd be waiting on me there.
They know.
Yeah,
they really
he
do.
was my bud. He was my bud. I mean, we were inseparable.
The things they can sense are incredible. I mean, they can sense earthquakes before they happen.
Oh yeah, or they can sense. We went to a bed and breakfast. Beautiful couple. They were down in Shelbyville, or Shovel, and they had I forget what kind of dog it was, but the dog would always go with the husband to like get the paper or something in a little golf cart. Well, something started happening to the dog. It started pulling his own hair out. He was going through and they didn't know what was wrong. Turned out the husband I think he had cancer. And the dog sensed it.
He was trying to get them to pay attention to something.
and he was already going through, he was grieving.
Yeah.
And
well, I have experienced, animals. We've got a cat who, sadly, I think we're going to have to put down soon because she's ailing. She's 15.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, the cats and dogs, they can sense when you're upset.
Oh, yes.
Because, I've had animals kind of get up close and get in your lap when you're upset about things. I mean, as you say, the sensory of the animals is pretty amazing.
They
Well,
do.
in college, I couldn't have animals. I just started volunteering at the Pound, which was a hideous place at the time down in Louisiana. And this little black cat took me in. I thought I was adopting him. He adopted me.
Oh,
and we went through so much together. And he was the first one. And then I would sneak him into the dorm. I'd sneak him in places. And he knew. And I was taken. Then when I got here, I worked at the Nashville Humane Association as a volunteer. And I adopted Winston, my little schnauzer, who went with me to every voiceover.
Oh, they're smart little dogs.
He would watch, and he knew when I got in front of the microphone, okay, I'm supposed to wait. And then when I'd go, done, and he would get up, shake, and do all the scratching with that sound. He'd get that out of his system. I said, okay, ready, start again. And go down. And he would, and then I had a golden retriever, Yogi, that would go to all my radio remotes. And Yogi, the wonder dog, wore the station colors. And I would take him everywhere, including we would go to schools like High Hopes that work with kids with special challenges. And I remember there was this one little girl who she was nonverbal. And she had not responded to anything. And this golden retriever, I took him in. And some of the kids would squeal and scream, and they would pull his ears, and he would just, okay, whatever you got, bring it. Come on, I love you anyway, kid. And this little girl, they noticed, and they watched her, and she had started crawling. And she came over and just wrapped her arms around Yogi, the wonder dog. She didn't say anything, but she connected. They said she had never connected with anything that had happened in that class. And so I think animals are great. And that's one of the things. I love working with all sorts of organizations. I mean, there are some right now, New Leash on Life in Lebanon. There's a safe place. There's a safe harbor that's out Hendersonville, Gallatin area. And True Rescue for Cats that is in Mount Juliet. And there's River's Edge that does a lot of work with horses and Horse Plus Humane. I could go on and on, but there's some amazing people, boots on the ground, that are doing things for animals, with animals. And if you can't adopt an animal, you can volunteer. And if you can't keep them and take care of them financially, you can foster. And that adoption agency, that shelter will take care of all their bills.
Oh, wow.
So you can still have a pet if you say, look, I'll give them a good home till they get a home. But you're not responsible for everything. Sometimes that's helpful. And the senior to senior that Williamson County, now what Williamson County does, they're a county-run shelter, but they work like a rescue. And it's just so cool. They have like free senior to senior adoption days. So if you got a senior dog or a senior cat, they can adopt free to another senior. And I just think that's precious because the senior population, of which I are one now, you imagine when you start losing all your people.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you lose a spouse, and
you lose your friends.
Yeah.
And it gets really difficult, and loneliness is a deal. And all of a sudden, these little senior animals who really just want to hang out with you, they're not too active. They don't chew too much because there's not a whole lot of teeth left.
That's right.
You put them, you both eat soft food.
Both need diapers.
Yeah, there you go. So just hang out together, and it is just a wonderful program. And a lot of places are starting to institute, but I know that Williamson is one of the first counties that did it.
Now you've written a lot of books about
dealing,
which they're really good.
Thank you.
And I would tell people to go get them.
Thank you. They have some at Amazon still left. Some of them are out of print. My favorite one, it was the one that started everything, is My Angels Wear Fur.
Yes.
And it started the night my beloved horse Maria passed away. She was my horse that I got, and she passed away. And I was with her, and it was just so tough. And so I just wrote her story out. Then another story came. And pretty soon I had a book. So I took it to Brian Curtis at Thomas Nelson. I said, I don't know if these are anything. This might be too close, but here's 5 stories. Would you just see if I'm on the right path? And he called me a week later, and he said, how would you like to be a published author? You've got everybody crying here in the office. And I said, okay. And he said, and I can only give you as an advance, you're a first-time writer. I'm sorry I don't have more. And I wanted to scream through the thing. I couldn't believe someone would give me money for something I wrote.
Yeah.
And I mean, and now I know it wasn't some huge amount. To me, it could have been $1 million for the way it made me feel inside.
Yeah.
Wow.
And because my dream when I was a little girl, I didn't have all the dreams of radio or anything. I wanted a book in a school library.
Wow.
That's it. That's what I wanted to have. Because I was president of the library club.
Oh, wow. That's quite prestigious.
Yes. It's back when we had those big things that you checked out books and go,
yeah.
Wasn't it cool?
Yeah, it was cool.
And libraries smell so good, and books smell so good.
And I love the shh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to look through the cards and you pull out the thing and
The card catalog.
Card catalog.
I miss those days.
Yeah, I Dewey Decimaled everything in my house. I had little things, and my mother came in. She said, "What are these?" Everything is within the Dewey Decimal System. Here's what they are, and they're all subject to, and they're. She said, "You are the weirdest child."
It's going to count one day, Mom.
Yep,
I promise you.
You could have gone from veterinarian to librarian. I mean,
See, all the Aryans.
yeah, all
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
No, what am I
scratch
saying?
that.
No, I'm not
More
one
I
of
think
those.
about
No
it,
Aryan.
yeah.
Yep.
I just like Vikings. It's not anything to do with that.
Well, the great thing too is you're in the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame, which you belong, because man, I loved listening to you. A lot of people, a lot of guys. Some of them are just into the guys on the air, but I've always loved women, especially
you.
when they have great voices like
Thank
yourself.
you. That's
Yeah,
really
I
kind
can
of
recall,
you to say.
I came to town in 85 to go to work with MCA Records out of radio. But anyway, I can remember, you started about then, did you not? Was it the early or mid 80s when you
I
started
moved here
Nashville
in
Radio?
86.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I knew it was around that time when I remember first hearing you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got here, and Kathy Martindale was on at SMFM.
Another great talent
Oh my gosh. I thought.
and a great person.
She is the best.
Yes, she
is just the best. And there's a lot of competition in radio, and especially among women,
That's true.
until they decide to not let it be. And we started years ago creating these little radio luncheons of the women in radio, and Shannon and U-Turn Laverne and
U-Turn Laverne.
I love U-Turn.
Oh my gosh. And we started getting together, and I just remember one of them in particular, U-Turn had just had her twin boys, and she had them both in high chairs next to her. And they brought these babies milk to drink in beer steins.
These babies were already linebackers. I don't see how she had them.
I said, "How old are your children?" She goes, "They're not quite a year."
I think she's a Viking.
She is a Viking. She and her husband.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
And she said, "Well," she said, "I just started. They're going to be a football team. I just might as well start early." And I said, "Oh my lordy, I'd never seen babies like that." But she's a real kick, and we've talked. Kathy and I have talked about going fishing all the time, because I'm Louisiana. You have to fish.
yeah.
You're required. Required. But we haven't had the time yet. But I just absolutely adore her. Were you here, either one of you here, when Playboy came to town and
Yes.
asked all the girls from radio to be
Yes.
in it?
Yeah, I do recall that.
And Kathy,
Kathy was in it.
Yes, she
Shannon was in it.
I didn't know Shannon was in it.
Which episode is this? Which issue?
Where can we get this? Women in radio?
And we were all laughing, and Kathy says, "Yeah, when the Playboy people, she said, but nothing ever showed. I covered everything with a cowboy hat." And Shannon said, "Yeah, and I covered it with such and such." And then I said, "Well, I did the ads for Nutrisystem, and I couldn't cover anything." So there you go. I did.
Great comeback.
They asked me, and I said, "My grandpa's a Baptist preacher." And they said, "Well, you're not going to show anything." I said, "Yep. But if there's naked ladies in the magazine, my grandpa would not be pleased." So,
Well, I remember, was it Eve Voppel? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was in. She was in one of them. I think it was the girls of college. SEC.
yeah, but Eve she could bounce quarters off her belly button. I mean, she worked out like a fiend.
But the great thing about her, she was smart. I heard this story. I don't know how true it is, but she was the only clothed girl in the whole pictorial. It just showed her in, she was, it was just a shot of her in her, school uniform, whatever. And what I understood was that they wanted her to be nude, and she said, "It's not in the contract. I don't have to be nude." And so she got away with it. And they
Good for her.
I thought, boy, how smart is she?
Well, it's surprising that they even included her then.
They did. Well, I think she held them to their contract.
Well, let's just put it this way. Her little school uniform, there are a lot of men who'd buy that just for that. And they didn't mind that she was clothed. She was
I did.
Eve is gorgeous and
she
was one of the
is.
very first women that was in that part of that workout scene to be really strong. She worked out not so she would be cute in her outfits, but like workout and
Like weight,
strength. Bodybuilding.
bodybuilder.
Yeah. She had a lot of strength training and stuff, and she's one of the first people I ever met that did that. I went. And Music Row of all, because that was not something on Music Row that everybody did.
No.
You did like jazzercise. We're going to do that. Or
Maybe, or just,
12 ounces at a time.
That's the workout I did.
Yeah.
The only workout I did was going to get the more ice.
The only gym they went to was the Pie Wagon.
Oh, that's
That's right. Yeah. Yes, the pie wagon. That's how I lost weight.
yeah. Well, we walk to the pie wagon and back.
And then after what you ate at the pie wagon, you lost it pretty quickly. So
That was too
Something
funny.
we never talked about was, all of us being in radio, what were your hot spots for lunch? Because we're all in different areas. Like I was in the Berry Hill area, and Baja Burrito was mine.
Oh yeah.
Like, I feel like taking a mid-afternoon nap. Let me go to get a burrito football from Baja Burrito. Where did you guys normally eat for lunch?
Well, I had my favorite place. Well, my first go-to was Virginia's.
Yes.
They had meat and three, and but they had sandwiches that were amazing.
They were.
They still do.
Yeah.
Just plain unadulterated. This is just a turkey sandwich. By God.
Yeah.
And Slice of Life when it was there. It's a vegetarian restaurant.
wow.
It was
I
so
forgot
good.
about that.
Yeah, there used to be one when I first got to town called Laughing Man. That was vegetarian.
yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah. I was so poor in radio, I always just brought my own bologna sandwich.
You were that guy.
Yeah. But
Hopefully-
I didn't heat up nasty stuff in the microwave.
I was about to say.
No, not one of those.
Everybody, every radio station, the kitchens always smell like lean cuisine cannelloni.
Yeah.
It was. You know what I'm talking about? That
Yes.
smell. It was cannelloni.
Yes.
And people go, what's that smell? It's a radio station.
Yeah. Or either popcorn.
Yes, burnt popcorn.
Burnt popcorn. And
coffee.
somebody would bring cabbage. I don't know why.
There was a guy I worked with in Connecticut who you always knew he was there because I smell tuna. We would open a can of tuna in the studio.
In the studio.
Ooh.
No.
Nasty. I tell you, one place I did love on right off Music Row was a sub stop.
Oh, yes.
The pink building.
The pink
with
building.
a little woman that talked like this.
Yep.
Huh? And boy, she just...
Yep.
And she knew what
loved
you
me.
wanted.
Yes, she did.
Did any of you guys ever go to the subway on Thompson Lane?
I know which one you're speaking
The
of.
angry
right,
subway
right
guy?
across from 100
Guitar
Oaks.
Center.
100, yeah, from 100 Oaks.
There was a guy in there. He was like the subway Nazi.
He was kind of like the super
Oh my
Nazi,
God.
eh?
And he'd just be sit there and he'd be like, next. And you'd immediately kind of come up. Sandwich. I'll take a bread, please. A whole wheat. What kind of meat? And it's like, I don't want to get the answer wrong because he's going to yell at me.
The sub-Nazi.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, who hired this guy?
Yeah.
Hell,
There's
he
a lot of
probably-
people like that.
He probably
Speaking of-
owned the place.
Berry Hill, Sam and Zoe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have order anxiety. That big, that board that had 8 million things on it. They didn't have you can go study the menu. It was just, it changed every day. I just figured out finally, I just went chicken salad wrap. And I found one thing. I can't look at it. It was just too much for me.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Because it got going overload.
Yeah. See, there was a little place that used to be in Eagleville. Mm-hmm. I forget what it was called, like Eagleville. It's not there anymore. That's Sorelli's is there now. Mm-hmm. But whoever owned that, they didn't specialize in anything. It just I couldn't make up my mind because there was just too much to choose
I know.
from.
Sometimes you're right. I mean, all that's so overwhelming, and the person working there is kind of like,
Yeah.
well, and you got people behind you. you know.
And there was nobody in the whole building when you walked in. And then all of a sudden you start to order, and then 80 million people come behind you.
Yes.
And they all know what they want.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're already, and some of them are buying for the whole office. Those are my favorites. You know, when you're in line and you're behind them,
And they pull out the list.
yeah,
The scroll, the Dead Sea Scrolls roll out.
Well, for
like the
me,
Don Imus bit.
well, if
I want
I
8,000 hamburgers to go.
if I just want I just want plain coffee, and Starbucks is my only option, like at an airport or something. Invariably, I'm behind the person with the the latte, with the order that's this long. When
Yeah.
all I want's a black cup of coffee.
Yes.
And you want to pay $7 for it.
Right.
Yes.
By
I've always
goodness.
said they need to have just a coffee express line.
Like a quick lube.
Yeah. For the people that just want plain coffee.
Well, the same can be said
you
for
know-
your convenience stores with the people that buy lottery tickets. When you're just in there to buy like a soft drink or get a cup of coffee or
Well,
something, and there's some guy that's buying all kinds of tickets.
Yeah, I need to. So they're in there.
I need to scratch off 3.
Yeah, ripping off stuff. But the Circle K's now have got the AI registered things.
Yeah.
Where you just set your stuff on there, and
That's good.
it reads off the stuff, and it's usually accurate.
Yeah.
Except one time it rang up my fanny pack. I don't understand. I just, and apparently they sell those there. I didn't know. And they said, well, we did. And I went, I think I got a soda, and it was like $29. I don't know what's in this soda, but I don't believe I want it. But oh my gosh.
Did you guys ever go to Calypso?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
I
yes.
love Calypso.
Another staple. The same people still work there.
Really?
I moved here in 2005. And I remember it's like every time I go there, I'm like, there you are. You're still here.
And I've always felt like I was back in hippie days when
Yeah.
I did that.
Sam and Zoe's kind of brings me that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Very
And that's a positive, actually, because sometimes I like going back to the
uncomfortable.
bull. Yeah.
Doesn't really align with my worldview.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I understand that, but sometimes I
feel like-
I have fond memories of my hippie days.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
Chevy vans, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
were carpeted, and it's so funny. It was those things were the grossest looking. I mean, you think about it. I go, did we have bad taste, or did we have bad taste
And
in the 70s?
girls wearing patchouli. You know.
I
It's
still
smelling
love
like
patchouli.
I do too.
I still love it.
Some people really just I
Oh,
can't
trust
believe
me.
I like patchouli, but I do.
Yeah, well, trust me, I know exactly when I walk into a room and I have it,
Yeah.
just because I have a moment that I go, I'm feeling a mood, amber or patchouli, and you wear that, and people are like, what is that? You be stinking. That is.
It's a good smell to me.
It's me too. I
yeah.
love it. I absolutely love it. There's this really cool app. I found it. It's called Too Good to Go. They just like launched, and you know how when they take food at the end of the night at certain restaurants and it would just go in the garbage, or they have convenience stores that they're going to switch it out the next day or whatever. They Too Good to Go. You can have a surprise bag, and for instance, there's a place in Mount Juliet that's an Indian restaurant, and you can get the app, and they go, "Oh, we have 3 surprise bags. You can pay $9. You get $30 worth of food at the end of the night. You just go pick up your little bag." I tried it. I thought it's going to be the worst experience of my life. This bag was so heavy, I had to hold it with 2 hands, one underneath the bottom. I went.
Wow.
It had chicken biryani or birjan, however you said that.
yeah, right.
That chicken and rice thing. And then they had tandoori chicken, and they had an order of samosas and all the sauces. It was literally $30 worth of food for $9.
Wow.
And then they have like you mentioned Circle K, and sometimes they'll just put together a package. My friend, I turned her onto it. She said, "Girl, we got 2 chicken wraps. We got some pastries and something else and a bubble drink." I said, "What's a bubble drink?" She said, "I don't know, but it was in the bag." And I thought, well, I'll just turn everybody onto it because that was $3. She got some of them.
Interesting.
So if you have like a coffee thing, you can say, go get pastries at the Circle K or whatever, and you have just a little coffee clutch, and instead of spending $20, you spend $3.
Very cool.
I like to save money. See?
Yeah.
Well, we have
right.
to these days.
And
How
also,
expensive everything is.
the food isn't being wasted.
That's
Yes.
that's the whole
That's the
reason.
big thing.
That's what they started it for. The
Right.
people who started it, and right now they've got out where I'm on East Side, like a long way from here. There's a mule out there that brought me here. It's a long traveled road to get here. They had chicken and waffles. There's a place and 2 or 3 Indian restaurants and a lot of. There's some grocery stores that have jumped in on it and say, "Hey, we've got things that are going to be going bad, but if you get it that day, it's kind of like manna." You got to eat it right then, or it's just going to burn, as my grandma used to say.
So what are you doing now? I mean, tell the folks what you're doing now.
Well, I got tired of being fired, so I opened my own business.
Smart girl.
But when you lose a job, I was working with a nonprofit, and I really loved what I did, but they went under new management, and like they did, they want their people in. Yeah. So you get the call and they said, "Well, I'm sorry, we're terminating you," and blah, blah, blah. There's no, okay, well, you could have waited until Medicare. I mean, a hot minute, you could have waited. And then I got really upset, and it was like God just said, "Okay, you've been going to school for a long time. All you've learned up to now is what you need for what you're going to do." And so I opened my publicity marketing firm called Devin's Farm. And we grow careers heart first. And so I work with artists, authors, companies, and nonprofits. I help them all because nonprofits need artists. And companies want to be aligned with nonprofits. And all of it all ties together. And so I realized I know how to do press for a tour and talk to radio people and get people on the air. Who knew? I've only been in it for 40 years. I go, "Hello, Sonny. I've got a guest for you. And a mule, and I'll bring him, I promise." But it just has turned out great. And I signed T. Graham Brown is one of my first artists. And Cletus T. Judd is coming back out.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
He's got a brand new video that drops this week, and it's really cool because let's just say he and Ella Langley are going to be really good friends after this.
Oh, really?
All right.
Because Shania did a lot for his career at one time.
Yes, she did.
And so
now he's an Ella fella.
he is definitely an Ella fella.
Yeah.
And it is the funniest video. I can't tell you more about it, but it's going to drop on Friday.
Awesome.
Does that have to do with Texas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. It's not that song though.
Right.
But it does have to do with Texas and
Well,
stuff.
he really was the Weird Al of country
Yeah, he
music.
was.
Yeah.
He was a radio guy at one point. He was in Tampa.
He was in Tampa. He did Atlanta, Huntington, Virginia. I mean, he paid his dues as a radio guy.
He has a tumultuous life story for sure.
The thing I love about him is he's not afraid to talk about it. And as doing his publicity, that's one of the things he wants to talk about his testimony as much as he does anything.
Yeah.
Because the thing that brought him back is he's got an amazing wife and an amazing little girl. And the little girl now is married and is a recording artist. And she sings Christian music. Now, how about that?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he just said, "You know what? I want to be home with my kid."
Good for him.
But he talked about anxiety and how difficult it was. And, anxiety is one of those things that people don't talk much about. And I loved his quote. He told me, he said, "Devin, I've always been able to make people laugh. I just couldn't make me laugh."
Yeah.
That's usually the case with comedians.
So it's going to be really interesting. He's got a book that he's almost finished with, and that'll be coming out as well. And I can't wait to help people understand this side of him that's coming out. And I can't wait. T. Graham Brown did probably the best gospel project I've ever heard in my life, as an album called Forever Changed. And if you're in a bad place, you put that album on and it will lift you. So he and Leon Russell did it together.
Oh, wow.
And, it's so good. Well, he's got a new project. I'm just going to say that Bill Gaither is behind it. And I cannot wait for this next one to happen. it's just exciting. The people that have been around for a long time, and people can put them in the category of legacy.
Yes.
But they're singing and doing things just as well, if not better than they ever did. The other thing is they're all sober.
Yes.
And are willing to talk about it.
Yes.
Which, I stay away from the firewater myself,
I do too.
And it's one of those kind of things people ask me. They said, what did you learn when you decided to stop drinking? And I learned, one, that I wasn't actually an alcoholic, and I never call myself that, not because I don't want to be one. It's because I don't want to discount some of my very best friends who really struggled.
Yeah.
I just stopped one day. I did a 90 and 90. I don't hold anything back. I said I wasn't addicted to alcohol. I was addicted to people who drank.
Wow.
Interesting.
I wanted to save somebody. And that's just as bad an addiction. We all try to fill up the hole.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's where people become alcoholics, drug addicts, is they are trying to fill a hole. That was my case anyway. But what I found is, and I don't know if it's the same for anybody else, but once I quit drinking and once I got away from drugs, my life became a lot more manageable. Not at first, but as I went along, I thought, wow, life is so much easier than I thought it was.
When you don't have to question yourself when you get behind your wheel of your car, or you don't have to ask yourself,
Or you get married.
or you get married. Yeah. Well, that ain't happened for me, but I don't lose my car anymore. There's that, I don't, dude, where's my car?
Where's my wife?
There you go. But, but I didn't grow up with alcohol. I was raised in literally the Baptist, and they didn't drink when they fish and keep it a secret with people. They weren't that kind of bad. They literally, they walk the walk. And my dad I always, Daddy, why don't you have beer like Mr. Floyd? The guy next door. Why don't you do like him? He says, well, honey, he said, I don't know if I could handle it or not. But he said, if somebody saw me drinking and it tore their family apart, they said, well, I saw Mr. Charles drinking and I thought it was okay that I did and it destroyed his family. He said, I couldn't live with that. So I just don't drink.
Wow.
He said, I'd rather show that I show up for my little girls and go to the stuff for them. And he said, if they want to do what I do, he said, just show it with me. I go to church every time the doors are open and I show up at everything my little girls do. And I said, oh, okay. And I never questioned that after that.
I wish I'd met him long ago.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? He had God bless him. He had a way of explaining spirituality in a way that was just so real, and it wasn't preachy and it wasn't punitive. And he said, I don't ever worry about where you go, honey. He said, I just send Jesus with you.
Oh, wow.
And I went, he said, so everywhere you go, just know that Jesus is right there with you. It scared the ever loving out of me. I said,
He's right here.
But you tell your kid that, and they're a real believer. It's like they don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, people ask me all the time. They said, well, when you were in high school, when I was in high school, I was a choir girl, not a choir boy. I was a choir girl. I wanted to be a missionary. That wasn't any of that kind of stuff going on, because I wasn't scared of Jesus. I was scared of my mama.
No kidding.
Heard that.
He's always with you, but don't ask him for patience.
That's right.
Circling back on
Right. That would be what we call a callback.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, Devin, it's been wonderful to have you
Thank
with
you.
us.
Yeah,
and
very
where
much.
can people check you out?
You can go to DevonO'Day.com, and that's my home for keynote speaking and all the stuff that I do. But my new company, if you've got somebody and you go, I need a guerrilla way of marketing or something that's a little bit off kilter or a little left of center or a little, something that hasn't been thought of yet or is in new media, they can go to devonsfarm.com.
Very cool. We may be coming your way.
There you go.
Jay, tell them where we can check us out.
Yeah, at the moment, and hopefully moving forward, you can find us, of course, on Facebook. That seems to be the big platform where folks seem to gravitate toward us. Over 23,000 followers.
Wow.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got the YouTube channel, and we're also on X and all of the other podcast platforms for audio, and there's circlingthedrain.net. But as we mentioned in our previous episode, we are looking at some rebranding, and we'll just kind of leave it at that for now.
So ahead of rebranding, and I tell you, Jesus is with you, and Jesus is with you too, and we will be with you next time. Join us.